Wootton, meaning farm in the wood, is a village midway between Ryde and Newport, at the spot where the creek, tidal to that point, is crossed by Wootton Bridge. It was recorded in the Domesday Book as Oderton, and after several changes of name is now known as Wootton Bridge. The parish of Wootton extends from the western bank of the Blackbridge stream, which flows out into the Solent as Wootton Creek at Fishbourne, to the western boundary that runs from King's Quay, across the bottom of Lushington Hill at its junction with Park Road, to Wight Rails Road in the south. To foster a spirit of community as the new millennium approaches, a group of villagers decided to research the history of the village and to record their findings in a tapestry that would hang in Wootton Community Centre in Brannan Way. They also drew up plans to erect a notice board and village map opposite. As in all rapidly expanding villages, traditional life was rapidly disappearing, and particularly in one such as Wootton, divided by the High Street, now the busy Newport to Ryde Road. Already the community centre, opened in 1995, is providing a focal point for village activities with its stage, dance floor, games area, library, bar and kitchen. 3 elderly ladies, all born in Wootton soon after the turn of the century, share with us some of their memories of village life.
Parents knew everyone as well, of course. It's totally different now.
Mary was saying when we were children it was a small village, we knew everybody.
I think one of the greatest impressions was the awful roads we had. There was a bend along the road before you got to be like between the corner and where we lived, and they used to get the tar engine there. It was a fearsome thing. Do you remember the tar engine? And great loads of granite chippings, and they used to tar the roads with this awful thing. They'd spray tar everywhere. Of course, as kids, you got covered in it. And then they'd throw all these great chippings over it, and woe betide any poor child that fell down. Their knees were in a dreadful state.
One of the oldest buildings in Wootton is the Church of St Edmunds. It is of Saxon design and was probably a manorial chapel. Its nave, dating back to 1087, is Norman, and the Norman doorway is one of the finest on the island. Today the church stands much altered and enlarged, and the chapel has now achieved the dignity of a parish church. St Mark's in Station Road, another Anglican church, wasn't built until 1909 and caters for Wootton's increasing population. Other churches include 2 Methodist churches. The Methodist Church in Station Road, which was built in 1897, replaced an earlier church at Littletown that was blown down by a gale in March of that year. A 100 years later, the church celebrated this event and members processed to Littletown for a centenary service.
On the hymn sheet, will your anchor hold in the storms of life?
The other Methodist church, formerly a Wesleyan chapel built in 1840, stands at the bottom of the High Street. Wootton boasts many interesting buildings. In Station Road stands the Brannans, once the home of the famous island engraver George Brannan. Opposite is the old pub, the Woodman Arms. Further down the road towards the High Street is the splendid Oakfield House, once the home of the island MP Sir Edgar Chatfield Clark. It has splendid views across copses and meadows, but sadly its lodge has recently been demolished. Further down Station Road is the Lich Gate to Fernhill House and the lodge. Built in the 19th century by Lord Bolton, a former governor of the island, this fine castellated mansion was destroyed by fire in 1938. Some buildings remain, but mobile homes now reside on the site of the old house. There were two entrances, one from Station Road, formerly called Beach Lane, and a second from the bottom of the High Street by Wootton Bridge, past Fernhill Farm. A later owner, Frederick Brodie, built a conservatory in the arcade of the mansion and, being a keen astronomer, erected an observatory in the grounds. Just inside the top gate is a quaint-looking hexagonal building with a pointed roof. Originally it was said to have housed an outside privy, but the Brodies used it to house an engine for producing acetylene gas to light pendants in the main rooms. The stables and old coach house still stand in the lane at the top of the estate. Our ladies share with us their memories of Fernhill.
Young, I used to love to go down to Fernhill Farm, and of course in those days that estate wasn't there, and the caravan park wasn't there, and it was Fernhill House, and Joe and I used to like to go down there. And in fact, we held the fates were held there. Major Brodie lived there at the time. And I used to get permission to go down the rhododendron walk down to Fernhill Farm. And a beautiful walk. And in those days, kids were, children allowed to go off on their own, and no one thought anything of it. But of course, very different. Well, I don't seem to remember much about the actual when it actually burnt, but we were told that there was a man cutting down all the rubbish, bush and old trees around the building, and I suppose the wind got up and set fire to the house. That's what we were told.
At the bottom of the park stood an ice house that once belonged to Fernhill. A community project to restore the ice house was completed in 1998, and an unveiling ceremony took place in October.
And I would now ask Rhoda and Oliver to declare the Fernhill Ice House officially open.
Not in front of...
I hope you don't think you are going to have something.
No.
Smiling.